What is up, Lightfighters? Welcome back. This is Lightfighters Anonymous. Thank you for tuning in. And as you probably know, unless you live in a cave and can't tell by the sun today, the days are getting shorter, the nights are getting colder, and winter is coming. Oh, shit, that was the wrong clip. I am so sorry.
Eagle 2, this is Lightfighter 1-1. How copy, over.
Contact!
Contact!
1-1, this is Eagle 2, good copy, set traffic, over.
Guys, so we know wintertime is approaching, and that means that the nights are getting shorter and much colder. So as light fighters, we need to adapt to such things. And that is going to make a main change in the clothes we are wearing in the day-to-day basis, as well as our sustainment loads. So today we are going to quick go over the down and dirty, a kind of what we are changing thing after thing from summertime, summer weight or 3-season gear to more of our winter weight or our cold weather gear. Now, the first major change that we're going to notice is going to be the clothes we're actually wearing on day-to-day basis. Now, obviously, I'm filming out here and it's 60 and beautiful, so I'm just wearing summertime clothes and I'm very comfortable. But these are my summertime lightweight pants. I might consider a heavier winter weight pant for wintertime operations on a day-to-day basis. And this is my typical blouse. This is just a 50-50 TDU blouse. Typically, if I'm going to step off and I know it's cold outside, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my ECWCS or Extreme Cold Weather Clothing System level 5s. They are right here. And those are similarly cut, just kind of cut like TDUs or ACU cuts, but they're made of this nice lightweight, breathable material. And as you can see, they've got like a little bit of a liner in here. And these are really good because they're great for layering. And they're also, when you do start layering with these, you can breathe. So this is very similar to just an ACU cut, but you can tell how lightweight it is. And it's got a little liner. These are just nylon, and they do have a little stow inside hood. So I typically start switching over to that when the weather starts getting, below 50s all the time, because they're comfortable even when it is 60 like now. I'd be comfortable in this right now by itself. But they're also really easy. They're way better for layering stuff. So if you're going to layer a lot of clothing, I like those. The level 5s is kind of like the primary. Again, those are pieces of the Extreme Cold Weather Clothing System from the Army. Now, those aren't Army issue because they're in green like they should be, but those are great pieces of kit. So the other thing is here on my actual rig, my fighting rig, not much is going to be changing here, and therefore I'm not going to go over the entire thing. One thing I would notice, if you haven't already done it or you don't have a way to boil water, make sure you have a way in the winter to boil your water, okay? These Nalgene's, as my buddies can vouch for, will warp, and I think they'll leach BPAs or all sorts of nasty stuff if you've got to unfreeze your water in one of these. So it's not the most fun thing to have. I would really encourage you to get like a metal canteen, and I will be going over that here later when we rip apart the Rucksack. But the other main change for me really is I change kind of just what I keep in my butt pack here. Here I've just got a sniper veil and just a little face cover, something like that. I usually start switching these out for a little bit warmer items, like a full-on balaclava. This one's signed by administrative results. You can't have it. She signed this one, so I don't wear it. And then one of the chimags, or the kifyas, or shamags, or I don't know, free Palestine rags, whatever fucking people want to call these. They're really nice and comfortable, and you can wear it like a scarf and keep you warm. So I usually switch out the sniper veil and the little face wrap to a full-on balaclava and a shamag, because they are a little bit warmer. And then I gotta just kind of stuff this with my gloves and then snacks. A lot of this stuff goes right into my pockets and around my neck and on my face when I step into the field. And that gives me that back center empty. Again, just water, nothing special here. Purification, sanitation, meds, tourniquet, ammo, standard shit, okay? Nothing's really changing on the fighting rig because fighting is the same whether it's cold out or not. What's really the difference is how you sustain yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and start ripping apart this rucksack, and we're going to go over once I rip it apart, I'm gonna go over what I'm gonna get rid of and then what we're gonna keep, okay? So I'm gonna try and do this as quickly as I can to keep this video flowing. All right, so here I go. On this right side, really simply, I have the best field knife known to man, the Glock field knife. It is fantastic. I'm gonna leave that right in there. Next to it, its little sister or big brother, whatever you want to call it, is the Glock e-tool. Okay, these are fantastic e-tools. They're made for actually digging, and I keep that right there. That's not going to change, so I'm going to zip that stuff up and leave it right in there. Nothing's in that pouch on the outside right now. On this other side, I keep my rations, mostly because I end up throwing them in there last minute, but this ration bag will go over in a second. Coming down to the end, sleeping pad on the bottom. Now this is a cut down one. I am a side sleeper. I curl up in a little fetal position like a baby. And I'm also old as shit, so I don't like my hips getting on flat pads. So I don't use air mattresses. I use these cut down cheap old foam pads, and I think they're just better for me. On upwards to my lid, you pop it open here. It's got a lot of magical compartments, so let's start on the very top. We can access it right here. On the top, I keep a signal panel, a Sharpie and a spork, a tactical flashlight that is taped. Now, these are tactical low light. These are not tactical 1,000-yard beams. And then also a headlamp as well. Again, red and low white light capable. That's what these two lights are for. Now, this isn't going to change, so I'm putting it right back. Again, get you a titanium spork. Eventually your MRE spoon will break, I promise you. Eventually. We're gonna zip that back up and leave it. Up top here, I've got my H2O purification and my filter, a little boo-boo kit, that is first aid, not trauma, and then some hero wipes so I can keep my hero clean, all right? That is all that's in there. In the pouch directly below that, which I can access through here, it's where I keep my gloves, all right? And those are some nice heavy-duty leather work gloves, specifically for wintertime because they're a little bit warmer. Now, they're not insulated. They could be, but those are for handling hot things, pokey things, or cold things. Onto my main here. Let's go ahead and twist it down so I can dump it out for you. First thing, right out of the top that I'm definitely getting rid of is my hydration hose. Now, I'm not a big hydration hose drinker, but sometimes I can drop this in a platypus and drink from that in my rucksack while we're rucking if we've got long movements. And then I've still got my water on my hip belt if we end up in a fight. These are great a lot, but when it's getting cold, I find myself using them less and less and less, and they are just they're the first thing that's gonna freeze. So once you get a little bit of ice in here, it takes a long time for that stuff to thaw, and you really can't get much water out of them. I find these to be almost complete garbage in wintertime. So that'll be the first thing we just completely get rid of. Boom, no hydration hose. Second, if you know me, you know that radios are fake and gay. Get you some aerial flares. That is how you tell your friends you need help. And you get two in case one doesn't work, you know, it's duh. Ammo pack, that will be coming back in here. Just some standard ammunition. This is my clothing. We're gonna dig through that. This is a line kit from like Garantham's recce video. Just 550 cord lines and strings that are gutted, pre-cut to good lengths, and then some tape, okay? This is a little much for ropes, but I got a bunch of ropes. USGI green poncho in God's cam. Now this is 10 sandbags. My sandbag system is if it's got a normal 10 rubber band on it, the 10. If it's got a big Black Ranger band on it, it's a 20 or maybe a 25. I forget now. I think it's 25. And then finally, sleep system. We'll go through that in a second. Getting down towards the bottom, a tarp. Now a little redundant with the poncho, yes, but I can wear the poncho and I can use the tarp as a ground cover, overhead cover. I like not having to get wet if I don't have to get wet. So I got another whole ass tarp in there. And then finally, because I'm a medic and I preach it, I've got me a little fast stretcher rolled up and stuff down there. I could switch this out for something else, and because it's becoming wintertime and I'm gonna need a little bit more space for things to actually keep me warm, I will probably be ditching this, and we'll include it, or we have extrication, not extrication, but evacuation equipment elsewhere. So we're going to be ditching that for wintertime operations because it is just kind of a single-use item and it doesn't keep you warm, and we need the space. Aside from that, all that I have left down here is my 2 platypus bags, and I use these pretty much exclusively, and I like them in the winter because if they do start to freeze, you can break it up pretty easily, give them a good shake, and you can still get water out of here, even if there's ice crystals floating around in here, all right? So that's good. Also, if you need to warm them up by the fire, you can always squeeze all the air out and get them so their water is right against the plastic, and that helps cool the plastic off so you don't burn the plastic and starts warming the water. So if you do need to thaw these that are like very, very frozen, you might have some trouble, but they've got a little bit of water in there still that is liquid. That helps a lot. But I keep the platypus bags. They just hold a lot of water. They fit so good. I love them to death. Let's start repacking this ruck. I do want to go over my sleep system real quick, but I'm going to go ahead and stuff these platypus bags back in here. Bear with me. All right, so I've got my clothing bag here. Let's go ahead and start ripping it apart. Nothing too exciting. Right on the top, change of socks and a soft watch cap. I have these all the time, all season, even in the summer. It still gets crispy at night. The watch cap is a savior. Of course, you need more socks as well. Another pair of socks. Also, what I have all season long is, drop my bug net, which I usually have, which I can probably get rid of because there won't be bugs. But again, so small. I don't want to lose it. What I do have all season, all year round, is a warm player of some sort. Now, this is like a level, I think this is a level 2. This is like your hex grid. This isn't actually a hex grid. This is just something I got at Costco, guys. You can get cheap stuff and it works great. But this is like a level 2 kind of insulated layer. Level 3 would be a fleece, which I don't really carry because I run hot and they make me sweat. Last thing I normally carry in here in the summertime is my Rhodesians. In case the fight gets really heavy, we need some 3-inch inseam shorts and face paint. That'll be what's important. So that's my normal clothing loadout. Really not that much. Sometimes I plus up more socks if I need more. Sometimes I throw in a nice undershirt, but I find myself just being completely okay with being a grimy little dirt ball in the field. One thing I will add for wintertime operations is some silken layers. These are level 1s in the extreme cold weather clothing systems. Again, I don't buy that junk. I just go to Costco and get some decent stuff for cheap. But these are your silken layers. So I do add silken insulated layers, long sleeve top, long sleeve silken layer bottoms, all right? These pack up real nice. Obviously, just keep them in a little mesh bag. I find myself throwing these on before nighttime, especially in the winter. Very nice. So probably don't need the shorts as much, but sometimes I like sleeping in them, so I'm keeping them. You don't tell me what to do. So first layer, we got the level 1s, the level 2, and then we've got level 5. We'll typically be wearing this with this as well. Watch cap and socks. That is typically it that's going in there. I'm gonna put that there because we're gonna stuff it in my ruck next, but this goes in first. And this is my sleep system, which is the next important thing I want to talk about. What I normally carry is just a United States Army. Now, I should get the Marine one. I hear they're better. My buddy says they got a built-in bug net. But I've got a U.S. Army, USGI surplus bivy bag. I love these things. They're made of nice, thick Gore-Tex. They're probably leaking PFAS into your bloodstream as you sleep, but they do keep you dry and comfortable, and that's what's important. Inside of this, I just have a Whoopee. This isn't actually a real, like, a poncho liner. This is a Snug Pack jungle blanket, and I think this is an XL because I'm a big boy. I like these a lot. I like these in the summer. They're nice, light blankets. They're completely polyfill. They're not super warm, but they will keep you warm down to, 50. Pretty. They'll keep you alive to 30, I bet, especially in a bivy bag. So, obviously, if we start getting real sub-zero, this isn't going to be very comfortable and it's not going to keep me alive. So what do I do? Two options I've got when it comes to staying a little bit warmer at night. Now, obviously, a sleeping bag is an option, but I'm not a sleeping bag guy. I sleep on my side. I like quilt sleeping. That's just from years and years of doing this. I prefer quilts and blankets to sleeping bags. I really don't like feeling constricted in a bag. So I got a wool blanket here and I got a down blanket here. Now, this is a synthetic down blanket. But you can notice the differences. These will both keep you pretty warm, Now this one will keep you a little bit warmer in extreme cold when it's dry, but this wool will keep you dry even when it's wet. It retains its insulation properties when it's wet. So which one do I carry? Well, depends on how wet I think I'm gonna be. One, how much space I've got, but primarily I really like these big down synthetic blankets. Now this is a one Tigress synthetic down I've recently got. I burnt my last down one. I needed to get a new one. So I don't keep it in this flimsy little stuff sack they include with it. No. It goes in my bivvy to keep it dry. And then all of this gets stuffed in a stuff sack the proper way. Now let's go over the proper way to stuff your stuff sack into your ruck. First thing, stuff your sack. No homo, I don't know. I like to get my blankets inside the bivvy just for that additional layer of protection. When I say stuff, oh, one I added fell out. Now when I say stuff, I mean actually stuff it in there. Don't fold it, don't crease it, just stuff it. And you're gonna say to yourself, whoa, that isn't very small. You're right, it's not. But it gets smaller as you start working. You're gonna stuff it on down in there. Stuff it on down in there. Stuff it on down in there. Get rid of that wool blanket, it's too big. And again, we're repacking this, so I kind of like the same order. I'm gonna go with my tarp on the bottom, poncho on the bottom. We'll do line kit 2. And that's where I like to put my sleeping system. So I'm gonna spin the camera around and we're gonna go do this over here. All right, guys, drop down the camera low so you can see how I do this. It just helps to do it on the ground instead of just on the table, which is ridiculous. First off, get everything situated kind of where you want it on the bottom of your ruck so you got a nice little platform. And then you take your big, super messed up thing that is way too big to get in there and you stuff it right on down the middle. Now, you're gonna notice, looks like it's too big. Yeah, it is too big right now, but we're gonna get in there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave the top open. That's important. And what I'm doing is I'm stuffing this as I'm holding the bag and I'm getting it, pushing the actual contents down in there nice and deep. Holding the bag, grab the outer bag, grab the inner bag, stuff it, stuff it, stuff it. And now at this point, I'll fold this once, start squeezing the air out. Capture that air progress with, your dry sack flaps, and then roll it on up. And at this point, that thing is packed in there, and it fits your ruck as best as it's going to do. So, what goes next? Your next stuff sack. So, again, with the top open, this is my clothing. I put it in where I want it, and I stuff. Again, with the top open. Stuff your clothes down in there, then stuff your stuff sack down in there. Squeeze the air out, capture your progress, and now you've got it fitting as good as it's going to fit in the bottom of your ruck. All right, guys, now I've got my ruck back to standing up. Now just my mission essential equipment that is going back in the top. We're still packing in the sandbags, still carrying 10 of those. Just always, they'll stuff, you can't hurt them, stuff them in the top. Also, always want our plus up of ammunition. So that goes close to the back, as high up as we can get it, because it's heavy. And then after that, it looks like the rest of this, oh yeah, rocket flares. When in doubt, send it up. Pack those in the top. All right, one thing I definitely like to add in the winter, and I mentioned it earlier in the video, is like a titanium cook set, or at the minimum, a metal canteen of sorts. And this is because water freezes when it's cold out at night. And the worst thing is when you wake up in the morning and all your water is frozen. So the best way to thaw water is a closed, sealed lid metal canteen. Obviously, crack it, but that'll keep some of the heat in, and you can thaw your water pretty quickly in a metal canteen. This one's great because it's a little nesting cook set. As you can see, I've never used this bottom, but it fits so well, I guess I'm going to throw it in there. So this could easily replace one of my canteens on my rig, and I'm probably going to do that. But If not, I could just stuff it right in here on the top of my ruck. And I'm getting tight in this CF2 by Crossfire. So it is gonna go into my DZ rig and replace one of my normal Nalgene's. One of my favorite YouTube channels, The Outdoor Boys, he says, I will be cold, I will be hungry, or I'll sleep bad, but I won't do all three. And when it's summertime out, you know, it's not too hard to not be cold. So I kind of just try my best to tough it out most of the season. But when it starts getting cold out, I do like to actually warm food in the field. When I can, obviously. If it's super tactical, Met TC, all that shit, you can't. But what do I use to warm food in the field? Well, I use this little awesome flat stove and then one of my metal canteens. This is a little folding titanium stove. It is Excellente. It just folds right together into a little teepee kind of design. All right, so this is the little Vargo stove all set up. Again, you can see that it's got its little trap door right here. You can feed it. Now, if you got it set up in this little orientation, this puck is obviously, you can set dry fuel on top of it or flip it over with a little reservoir to burn alcohol. And I stuffed that on the side here just so this stuff doesn't get lost anywhere else. Now, what am I cooking in there? I really like these little packs of food. These are 800 calories, flavor I like. And so is these little 4-minute pastas. Now, what I like about these is you put the water in, you don't have to drain them, they just absorb all the little water. These beans and rice take a little while to cook. This little thing cooks a lot quicker, these instant pasta dishes, and these are great. And again, this is about 600 calories, this one's 800 calories right here. This is a ton of food, to be honest with you. My favorite place to smuggle food into the field is in my belly. So just eat as much as you can before you step off, and then you have to carry less. All right, I got all that food in there. I had to make an administrative decision and get rid of the pasta in lieu of the beans and rice. I like beans and rice. Okay, packing the rest of this up, guys. That is pretty much my main compartment, how I like it. We go back to packing this lid, and I'm packing this lid basically the exact same way I unpacked it. So my very top pouch here that I can access, I like getting my gloves in there so I can get to them from either side. And you know what, I'll just do it from the other side. This is a great time to show the CF2's expandability now that I'm using it a little bit bigger. This lid just loosens up and gets right on top. Now I could throw an M79 or anything, or a helmet or a whole coat if I need a winter coat right on top of there. That's fantastic. So let's get into here through the cool exterior access. Again, down there, that is my top lid pouch. And pretty much that's all I keep in there. Next one is going to be sanitation right there. Well, first aid, keeping the back. My water purification right there. I should note there's a little pouch right here with my batteries in it that I didn't even pull out. I got my batteries right there. It's a little felt line pouch for like optics or something like that. We didn't change anything in the top. Bug net, won't be needing that. Don't want to lose it, stays in. Guys, that is how basically I changed my sustainment loadout for winter operations. Other than that, changing your clothes a little bit out. If you need to add a big coat in, obviously you can. And people are saying, oh, you need a bigger ruck for wintertime operations. Well, this is a Crossfire CF2 loaded down. I had it loaded for summer ops, and now it is full pretty comfortably for wintertime operations. I will get out in the cold with this. Don't think I need anything else. So guys, this was switching over your gear from summer to wintertime. I hope this was informational. I hope you had no fun at all, guys. Rock on, stay sharp. Tell your mothers you love them.